So if you recently updated to iOS 26 and some of the apps are seeming a little bit confusing to you, I thought I would walk you through how some of these apps work, like your phone app, messages, mail. These are the main areas that might be a little bit confusing. So let's first jump into the phone app. You can see the phone app has changed. This might be what your phone app looks like. This is the new unified view. And if we go up here to the top right-hand corner, you could actually switch it back to classic. So if you're just not a fan at all, you can switch it back to classic. You see you get the classic categories down here at the bottom with voicemail separate. But if you're wanting to conform and go with the unified, what we have under recents is all of our pinned or favorited contacts. We have our recents down below. And our recent calls are also going to include voicemails. All of that is unified into one view. And if we go into contacts, we can view all of our contacts. We also have keypad, and then we have search, which is a unified search as well. So instead of just searching for a contact, we start to type something in and it's going to pull in from pretty much anything, including transcripts from recent voicemails. So this might be just a little confusing if it's something that's new to you. And of course, we have the liquid design where we can just drag this thing around, which I'm not a super fan of, but it is here and it's the way things are moving forward. So if you're wanting to learn and understand how to use this unified view and maybe add some favorites up here to the top, the way that you do this is you go into a contact. This one is not a contact. This is actually a spam call that I received, but we're going to go ahead. We'll save this as a contact. And now that this is a contact, we have the option to add to favorites. So if I tap on add to favorites, I could choose whether I want message, call, or video to be what's added to the favorite. That means that when you one tap on that favorite, it's going to either initiate a message, initiate a call, or a video call. So we'll just choose call, and then it has you choose which app you want to use and then what number you want added as a favorite. Now, if we go back to our recents and I hit show all, we've got spam added down here, and I can also reorder these. So if I wanted to move this one more up towards the top and have it show up here, now you can see it's showing up in the third position. And if I was to tap on this, it would automatically initiate a call, which of course I don't want to do. Now, because I did initiate a call, you can see it shows up here in my recents. I can actually just swipe to the left and I could trash can that, or I could set a reminder. What's pretty neat about that is that if you want to be reminded to call this person back, I could tap on reminder and choose remind me in an hour, tonight, tomorrow, or later, which allows me to choose a set date or time. So if I choose remind me in an hour, now I'm going to get a reminder to call this person back, and you can see it categorized them as reminders. So I'll get pinged on my phone when that 1 hour has elapsed, or if I call them back ahead of time, or if I want to remove them out of reminders, I could just simply swipe and I can cancel this reminder, mark as completed, or of course I could just swipe and trash can and throw that recent in the trash. Now, some people like to keep their recents clean, and so you might delete all of your recents. I don't really care for mine. I just leave them all there, but you can swipe and keep this clean and tidy. You can also tap on edit, hit select, and you can come down here and delete a whole bunch of these all at the same time. Now, if these hadn't been viewed yet, I could also mark them as red, but because all of these have been read, that doesn't necessarily matter. Now, if we scroll down a bit, you'll see we've got a voicemail right here. So if I tap on this, I get the voicemail tab that we're used to seeing in the bottom right-hand corner. This is showing me the voicemail. This is a spam voicemail. And from here, I can listen to my voicemail. I can share that using the share sheet, send that audio recording to someone else. I could throw that voicemail in the trash. I could report it as spam. There's all sorts of things I can do here, including calling that person back. I could tap on the contact card and see any information regarding that contact here. And when I'm done with that, if I want to clear it out, I could just simply swipe and trash can that. So if we swipe over one and look at contacts, this is going to work pretty much the same. If we tap on one of the contacts, we're going to get all of the information for that contact, and we can come in and hit edit, and we can make changes to that contact. All of this pretty much looks the same as it was before. However, when we click on edit, we can add a custom avatar, and we can also add a posterized background. So if I want to choose an image from my phone, I can just tap on that icon. I can tap and choose an emoji, a monogram, or an actual emoji. For setting the poster, I can choose a photo, memoji, or a monogram, and that'll show up in the background of the call whenever somebody calls through. And of course, it will also show up here as well in the pinned favorited section. Now, when I tap up in the top top right-hand corner, I can view calls, missed voicemails, or spam. So if I don't want to see all calls, I can just show missed calls. I can also go and view just my spam calls or my voicemails. And I can also hit manage filtering and go into the settings where I can turn on filtering for unknown callers and spam to automatically be categorized. So while the phone app looks a little bit different, actually having everything unified in one place has resulted in less tapping around to find things for me, and ultimately makes it easier for me to manage the calls that are coming in. I especially like the reminder feature being built right into the Calls app. Now let's look at Messages. The Messages app looks a lot less changed, but there are some things in here that we want to look at also. For example, in the top right-hand corner, we have the same sort of filtering, and you can see I can filter by messages, unknown senders, spam, recently deleted, and then I also have two lines on my phone. I'm using two phone lines. I have a Verizon line, and I also have a T-Mobile line, or essentially a Google Fi line. You could tell that by looking at my signal strength bars. It shows them broken into two with Verizon on the top and T-Mobile on the bottom. So I can filter by whether those came in over my personal line, which is the Verizon, or my business line, which is under T-Mobile. Now, one of the things we're getting more of these days is spam text messages, or even text messages that have verification codes and stuff like that in them. So what we're seeing right here is a clean look at all of my text messages without any spam or anything like that there. What filtering allows is for me to just see my messages and filter out all of the unknown senders, which these are all unknown senders that have sent messages over the last few weeks. And then I also have spam in here as well, which this is definitely a spam message. I can swipe and trash can that spam message and get rid of it. Now I don't have any spam. And I can also look at recently deleted messages as well. If I tap on Manage Filtering, it brings me into settings where I can tell my phone I want to screen unknown senders by moving them to the unknown senders list. Now, what's nice about unknown senders and spam is that it puts them into that folder automatically, and I can go in and check that from time to time just to see if there's anything that shouldn't have ended up there. Instead of that muddying up all of my other messages, I guess it does end up saving a little bit of time by just moving them all out of the way. But if I don't want that to happen, then I can just go ahead and turn off screen unknown senders and filter spam. And instead of the Messages app filtering everything out, it's just going to leave everything in there, basically how you were used to having it before upgrading to iOS 26. Now, there are some swipe gestures available in the Messages. If I swipe this way, I can mark a message as not read or read, depending. So if I want to mark it as not read, you can see now it just went ahead and marked it. And if I swipe it again, it goes ahead and marks it as read. If I swipe in this direction, there are two options. There is a silence notifications and then a trash can option. So for example, if I wanted to just trash can it, I can swipe all the way. You can see I get delete or delete and report as spam. What I like about this is that it's less gestures and taps than it used to be in previous versions of iOS. So I could just simply swipe and tap, and we're done. Another option is to tap on edit, and we can edit pins, which these are our pinned contacts up here. We pin a contact by tapping on a pin on one of these. So if I wanted to add this particular person there, I can just tap on the pin and it adds them. I can move these around by tapping and holding and sliding from side to side and repositioning them to where I want them to be, and then just hitting the check mark when I'm done. If I click on search, I can search for all sorts of things that are within different text messages. You can see I've got actual text messages. I've notes that I've been collaborating on. I've got a section for external links, photos, locations, and documents down below. So it makes it really easy for me to find different things in Messages. Now let's look at the Mail app. The Mail app has had a lot of changes as well. You can see that I have a bunch of unread emails here. I can manage those by going in and clicking on one of them. And you can see I've got some buttons down here at the bottom. I can archive that by clicking on archive. I can move it by clicking on the folder, or I can tap on what you think is just a reply. So we've got the reply icon here, but this is where we get access to everything else. That was a little bit confusing to me initially. So if I wanted to trash can a message, just simply click on trash right there. Or if I want to reply all forward, archive, be reminded, flag this. I mean, everything else is right here. I can also mute this email, print it, or even block the contact from here. Now there's also improved swipe gestures as well. If I just swipe a little bit to the side, I get the trash can and remind icon here. I can simply click on trash to get rid of that one. Or if I want to be reminded, I can click on remind and I get those same reminder options that I got in the recent calls, which is great. Remind me about this email in an hour. remind me tonight or tomorrow, or set a custom time. Or I can just continue swiping and boom, that message is gone. So it's very easy for me just to go through a bunch of messages. I can also tap on select, and then I can select a handful of messages. And with them selected, I can either archive them, move them, or tap on this icon to move to junk, mark as read, or flag. Now, one of the things that I think is kind of frustrating is that I can't just delete a bunch of these. So no gestures work when I have these selected. I don't have an option for delete. So I'm still going to have to just go and manually delete emails one at a time, which I think is kind of a bummer. If I want a preview of an email, I can tap and hold on it, and I also get these options down here below. If I swipe in the other direction, I get archive, move, or underneath more, I essentially get that same sheet that I would get if I had clicked on what I thought was the reply icon. So I can trash this message easily from here. Or if I want to archive a message, I can just swipe it all the way over and it's now archived. Now, if your swipe gestures aren't looking exactly like mine, you need to go into your settings, go into the Mail app, and then customize those gestures. Now in the top right-hand corner, we also have List View or Categories View. Categories View is a new way that Apple is organizing email, and I'm not sure that I necessarily like it because we have our primary section, transactions, updates, promotions, and then all mail. My preferred view is seeing all of my email at once, so these other categories don't really make sense for me to have active if all I want to do is view all of my email in the first place. I could turn on and off show priority, which if there is an email that Siri believes is a priority, it will actually show that email up towards the top. I don't have any of those right now, so nothing is showing up. And then I can turn on or off whether I want contact photos to be displayed over on the left-hand side. If I want this to be a little bit cleaner, then I can do that. Shows a little bit more information from the email, but I do like having the contact image show up, even though, as you can see, most of these senders don't have a default image showing up anyway. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, I can choose my filtering options and show which email addresses I want to include, whether I want unread or flagged included, and there's additional filtering options that I can have as well to change what is displayed in this view. We also have a search so that I can search by content that is within those emails, and I can also do that with voice here. Bottom right-hand corner is to send a new message, very easy. Now lastly, we're going to look at the camera. I'm going to go ahead and open up the camera on my phone by hitting the camera control button on the right-hand side. You can open it up if you don't have that just by opening the camera app. Now by default, we just have photo and video, but if I put my finger here and start to swipe, you can see we have all of the different camera options that were there before. So it kind of hides them, gets them out of the way, keeps the camera app nice and clean. Tapping on this icon obviously switches to the front-facing camera just like it did before. If you're close up to an object, that's for macro mode, and then we have our different camera angles depending on which model of iPhone you have. So this little icon here gets you access to additional camera options like flash, live photos, timer, exposure compensation, and aspect ratio. Again, another thing that Apple did to just kind of clean up the user interface and make things a bit more simple. Over on the left-hand side, we have our photo format and resolution. I typically shoot raw images at 48 megapixel, but if you want smaller image sizes, you can go with HEIC, and then you can choose between 48 megapixel or 24 megapixel size images. In the top left-hand corner, we have our exposure compensation. Essentially what exposure compensation is if your images typically are too bright, you can use exposure compensation to bring things down a little bit. So we can swipe over and maybe go with negative 0.3 on the exposure compensation, which is going to just lower the exposure just a little bit. Alternatively, you can also boost that. You can go in the other direction, and with a positive exposure compensation, all of your images are going to be just a little bit brighter. And of course, you can tap this icon to reset it, and then the X to close that menu. Another neat feature in iOS 26 is not having to switch between photo and video mode anymore. Now, instead of swiping to video, just simply press and hold on the shutter button, and you can see it started recording. And then as long as you're holding down on this, it's going to continue to record. When you let off, it will have completed. Now I can tap right here, and then I can swipe all the way over to lock and continue to record. I really like this. The amount of time that I spend switching between photo and video mode, I'm missing moments and opportunities. It's very easy now just to go immediately into a video mode without having to swipe back and forth between photo and video modes. There's also a bunch of additional information when you go and view a photo. You can see it shows the location, the time, and the date right up here. And if I tap on this, I get access to all of that additional information that essentially is the same as hitting the little eye icon here. In the top right-hand corner, I can copy this image to my clipboard. This is one way of adding an image to, say, a text message or an email. You could simply copy it to your clipboard and then go and paste it into a text message or an email. I can duplicate this, hide this image, play it as a slideshow, add it to an album, adjust the date and time or location if that information was not correct. I can mark it as a favorite, and then I can also go in and edit that image. When I'm in the edit menu, most commonly, you might be going in to crop something. So here's where you would crop an image. And I have a free transform right here, but if I don't want that to be freeform, I can go ahead and hit original, and then it's going to conform to the original aspect ratio of the image. Of course, I can also change the crop from landscape to vertical, and then swipe between different crop modes as well. Now, the cleanup feature is really nice. I can tap, brush, or circle what I want to remove. I can also zoom in first with 2 fingers. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a circle around this like leaf or something like that that's in there. And we're going to go ahead and let it remove that item. You can see it's thinking about it, and now it removed it, but it left kind of a weird little halo around the edge of this rock. So we're just going to go ahead and paint around that a little bit and see how it fixes that problem. That's much better. So now if I hit done, that distracting object is gone from my image. Back under the edit menu, we have our typical adjustments that we can make here to exposure, brilliance, highlights, contrast, shadows, all that good stuff. And then we also have all of our photo filters so that we can give our photos a unique look. At any time, you can always revert back to the original image should you want to go back to how things started. We also have our markup tool here, which allows us to use our pen, highlighter, eraser, or anything to mark up an image if we wanted to. And we have an undo button or a redo button here in case we make a mistake. Clicking on the check mark will apply that change, or I can hit X just to go back. Now, if you have a VR headset, you can make images spatial by clicking on this icon here, and it's going to go ahead and turn that image into a spatial image that you can view in your VR headset. This, of course, doesn't look much different on an iPhone, but when you put on your VR headset and you go into your Photos app, you'll be able to see the difference in your image there. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the share sheet where we can share this image to all sorts of different apps, use it as a wallpaper, create a watch face for your Apple Watch, save it to your files, do all sorts of different things. I feel like this menu is a lot easier to navigate now, but not a lot has changed here. So there's a lot that's changed in iOS 26, enough that this is one of the first times that I made a video like this because things can be a bit confusing. So I hope that this video helped you understand how to use the new interface and ends up saving you a bit of time and frustration. If you want more tips like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and head on down in the description to subscribe to my newsletter where I send out updates like this all the time. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much, and we'll see you back in another one soon. Take care.